Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Hello, good Saturday evening, folks. Thank you so much for tuning into the Q2 Weekend News. I'm Dustin Klemann. The snow is here as expected, slowing the city to a crawl in Billings. With many struggling to leave their home today, residents are also dealing with the snow piled up in their driveway after side streets are plowed for the first time in years. With more than 500 miles of city streets to plow, 12-hour shift contractors moving from west to east on its plowing. This includes city crews plowing and collecting snow from arterial streets like Grand and 4th Avenue. Regardless, many still taking to social media to voice their displeasure with being stuck in their driveway, even though crews are using snow gates to help mitigate the amount of buildup in front of driveways. Now, others are thanking crews for their work. It's a reminder for you, tax dollars goes to residential street plowing, not removal. The city is asking for you to remove your vehicles from the side of the street if possible and to be patient. It was a record day for snow in Billings on Friday with 8.9 inches, breaking the mark for December 29th all the way back in 2010. National Weather Service started measuring snow depths at the airport in 1934, and over the last few days, it has snowed about 15 inches in Billings.
With this particular storm, it was interesting. We had this cold air move down out of Canada into east of the divide across much of Montana. With that cold air in place, we actually had a really good fetch of moisture that came in off the Pacific. And probably during the New Year's Eve time frame, we could be as much as 15 below outside across Billings. So it's going to be cold.
No more snow is expected until late next week, but temperatures will continue to be ice cold, bone-chilling cold with high winds, low visibility and drifting. And that also caused problems for U.S. Highway 191. It's closed down from Harlowton to Eddy's Corner on Saturday afternoon. Initial reports from Montana Department of Transportation described conditions with zero visibility, but has since been updated to just poor visibility. So a heads up on traveling. Good to check in with the state. Good to check in with Brett McCrumment joining us, where we have a lot of watches and warnings around our area.
We do, as a matter of fact. Most of the snow warnings have gone away, but now we're talking about the wind chill warnings and wind chill advisories. And that's what we're looking at right now as we take a look across the state right now. Those areas shaded in the light blue, wind chill advisory, we're talking wind chills of 20 to 30 below zero. Wind chill warnings, 25 to 50 below zero for extreme northeastern Montana. Avalanche warnings, those areas shaded in blue. And we still have a winter weather advisory up around the Cut Bank area over towards Great Falls. And that will continue at least for the next little bit. The snow will start to taper off, but the bitter cold temperatures are going to stick around for the next couple of days before a ridge of high pressure will begin to build back in and warm temperatures back up. We'll have that with your complete forecast. It's coming up in just a few minutes. Dustin?
All right, thank you very much, Brett. It was a close call for one semi-truck driver as an avalanche buried him in on Highway 200 last night. This was the site. Take a look. You can barely see the semi-truck. This was between Lincoln and Missoula. The driver was trapped in the front cabin of the semi while rescuers worked to clear enough snow that they could even open the door. Fortunately, he was not injured in the avalanche. Westbound traffic was detoured at Lincoln. Eastbound traffic detoured at Montana Highway 141. Lincoln County Volunteer Fire Rescue responded to the scene.
There's so many of those hillsides just like that, you know, along Highway 200, all over Montana for that matter. So it could happen anywhere. Emergency officials say it's emergency travel only, or, you know, please stay home, please do it, because there's a reason for it. They don't make these decisions lightly.
We'll keep you updated on our weather app. Be sure to download that for free. The roads on Highway 200 were reopened in early hours of Saturday morning. In other news, the year of 2017 will be remembered in Billings for a number of great achievements and growth, but we can't forget the shocking crimes that took place in our community. Q2's Asia Gore has been following these crimes all year and brings us an update on the 5 most notable cases.
This year kept law enforcement on its toes as a number of murders, robberies, and standoffs took place month after month. Federal authorities raided a home in Roundup in June as part of an investigation into a serial bank robber known as the AK-47 Bandit. Authorities say Roundup resident Richard Gathercole robbed at least 7 banks in 5 states. escaping with cash in less than 4 minutes.
During the bank robberies, he was ruthless.
After eluding law enforcement for 5 years, the FBI says they have their man. In August, someone entered a home in Lodge Grass and unleashed a hail of bullets, leaving 3 people dead. The home, where 2 men and 1 woman was killed, set on fire days later in a string of events that residents called a community crisis fueled by drugs.
It's sad that this had to happen, but with it happening, it opened a lot of people's eyes.
No one has been charged with the crime. A well-known Billings man in the world of fitness went missing in July. Months later, authorities found Rory Warner's remains in a shallow grave outside Roundup. Murder charges have yet to be filed, but police suspect at least 3 men were involved in the drug-related crime. In November, 2 men stumbled upon a headless corpse on the Billings West End.
Definitely shocked. We got out of there as soon as possible and called the police.
The victim, Myra Knight, reportedly met his killers at a casino the night of his death.
You will have a jury trial.
Donald Cherry and Jeffrey Haverty are charged with the gruesome murder. And the Billings Police Department was thrust into the headlines after an unprecedented number of deadly encounters.
In these situations, our officers are victims of violent crime.
Officers fired shots during standoffs on the rims in May, at the Lazy KT Motel in October, and at Big Bear and the Billings South Side days apart in November. All of the officers involved in those incidents are back on duty. Coroner's inquests are pending. In Billings, I'm Asia Gore, MTN News.
Thank you very much, Asia. Justice was served with the convictions of 5 people in the murders of a Crow Agency woman, a Billings veteran, and a Hardin girl as well. In less than 2 weeks, Montanans running for office in 2018 will start filing as candidates, officially kicking off this year's election season. MTN's Mike Dennison gives us a preview of the political landscape and the handicaps, the key battlegrounds in this coming year election.
Topping the list of Montana races this year is the re-election campaign of U.S. Senator Jon Tester, seen by some as a vulnerable Democrat in a Trump-friendly state. But for now, national and local observers have shoved this race down the list, as Republicans don't have a high-profile opponent.
It's definitely a top 10 race in the country. I don't think it's a top 3 race. I think there are other Democrats that are a little bit more vulnerable. So I think Tester's in a little bit better position relative to 2012, but we'll see.
As many as 6 Republicans may compete for the party's nomination to challenge Tester. They include State Auditor Matt Rosendale, former State Judge Russ Fagg of Billings, State Senator Al Olszewski, and businessman Troy Downing. GOP voters will choose their candidate in the June 5th primary. Newly minted Republican Congressman Greg Gianforte is also up for re-election, and a half-dozen Democrats are vying to challenge him this November. Gianforte certainly starts out as the favorite, but if President Trump's popularity doesn't hold up, and Democrats have a good year nationally, this could become a tight race.
Donald Trump is becoming less and less and less popular, even in a place like here in Montana. I think it's a risk to wrap yourself around Donald Trump. You might come to Election Day and might find that you regret that decision.
Or will you? State GOP leaders say they still consider the president a positive and will embrace him. State Party Chair Deborah Lamb also says they'll emphasize that Senator Tester has not supported the president on key issues.
But our main task right now is showing Montana who Tester really is, because he says one thing, but when he gets into D.C., he does something else.
Also on the ballot in 2018 in Montana are a pair of state Supreme Court races, 2 Public Service Commission spots, and 125 legislative seats. Democratic Party Executive Director Nancy Keenan says Trump has fired up the opposition, and that she's expecting many Democrats to step forward and run once candidate filing begins a week from Thursday.
We're ahead of schedule in recruitment. It's amazing the number of people that want to run, and all really quality candidates coming from those local communities.
Republicans control a 32-18 majority in the state Senate and a 59-41 edge in the state House. Democrats say they're ready to shrink those majorities, but the GOP says that's not going to happen.
I think we could very possibly pick up some seats. I think we're doing a good job of recruiting.
Everyone's talking confidence now, of course. But as we know, a lot can change by Election Day, and many factors will play a role, from voter turnout to the economy. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. Candidate filings begin January 11th and ends March 12th. We'll be following it. Still ahead on the Saturday edition of the Q2 News, more studies showing the negative effects to sugar-sweetened drinks. We'll have that story and more in this week's top medical news. And later in sports, we don't have to go back very far to find our number 2 story on the countdown. It's a shakeup in Missoula that had everyone talking.
You're watching MTN News with Dustin Klemann, Storm Tracker weather with Rob Griggs, and sports with Casey Conlon. This is the 5:30 News on Q2, Montana's news leader.